Vanessa, V like Victor, Arela.
We'll just start off, this tragedy happened months ago. Why is it important that we keep marching, that you guys keep going out here and giving her a voice?
It's important so people don't forget that this happened because it's not a one-time occurrence. Unfortunately, they've been finding other soldiers dead around bases, and she is just, but unfortunately, the person that has to be the one to raise awareness. So we have to back up our soldiers because they're fighting for our country. So we have to be their voice now.
I also think that it's important to continue to march for Vanessa because although this tragedy did happen months ago, we still haven't gotten justice for Vanessa. Her mother is demanding for independent congressional investigation into her daughter's death. She's also demanding that we close down Fort Hood and that we hold the entire chain of command responsible for Vanessa's death and the subsequent way in which they handled her disappearance. And also, Vanessa's mother and her family is calling for a moratorium on all recruits until there's justice brought for her daughter. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we have to continue to march, continue to fight, and continue to make sure that her name is not just here in Salinas and in Monterey County, but also in the national narrative. Because although, again, this happened months ago, we still have not gotten the justice that her family is demanding. And quite frankly, the justice that Vanessa deserves and that our Latino community deserves.
In this Latino community, in this very military, homey area, what does Vanessa's tragedy, mean to you guys? How does it hit you guys a little differently here?
I feel like as a Latino community and our youth of color, they're targeted by recruiters at the schools because they think that's their thought. They are made to think that's their only option of being able to do something. And with how things are going right now, it's not the safest option for our youth to be going into the military.
I also think that it hits really close to home because Vanessa could have been my cousin. She could have been me. She could have been, Frida standing here right next to me. She was a young woman who was recruited out of high school. She was only 20 years young when when her life was tragically taken from us. But Vanessa, if I see her social media pictures, she lashes like I do. She played soccer like I did growing up. She wore number 11. She was faithful to a number like I was when I played basketball growing up here. Vanessa is all of us. She is our neighbor. She is our cousin. She is us. In Lakesh, my other me. Vanessa is my other me. And that's why we continue to fight for her. And that's why everyone should fight for her because soccer is the most played sport around the world. Everyone can, or not everyone, but so many people could identify with that and loving that sport. She was just like everybody else who loves soccer.
And what does it mean how do you feel coming out here and marching and letting the people of Salinas know that you're out here with this presence?
We feel sad that we have to. I'll be quite honest with you. It breaks my heart to hear Vanessa's family, to hear her sister, Lupe, to hear her mother, to see, her grandmother cry. It breaks my heart, to be quite honest with you. And we shouldn't have to be doing this. The lives of Latino soldiers should be just as valuable as the lives of any other soldier of any other ethnicity. And Latinos enlist in the military at disproportionately higher rates to our population. Latinos are patriots, and it's sad, it's disgusting, as a matter of fact, that we have to come out here and fight for Vanessa. But you know what? Just like her mother said, if we have to move mountains, we will do it. We are behind her, we're behind her family, y si tenemos que mover cielo, mar y tierra, se va a hacer para Vanessa.
That was moving. I have tears in my eyes now, but How do you feel about everyone that's come out to support, this cause, support Vanessa, support all of the injustice that you're seeing in your Latino community?
We're really grateful for everyone that's out here because it takes a village to make a change. We're stronger as a community, stronger as a nation because that's what we are. We're supposed to be united. We're the United States of America. So I'm just sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just really glad that people are joining us because this is just the beginning and we have a long fight ahead of us.
Samantha, Frida, would you guys like to say anything else?
I just want to thank the community. There's been so many actions lately, all across Monterey County, Santa Cruz County, in the Bay Area, and I just really want to thank the community, everybody who's coming out. There are so many people whose faces that we see over and over and over again, and there are also so many faces that we see for the first time. So whether you're an OG to this movement, or you're just gonna, see this and join us today or join us tomorrow. I think it's I just want to give my gratitude to everyone who has joined into this movement, who has came out, who has reposted, shared, liked, marched, spoke up in any way, shape, or form. My sister here, Frida, was saying, it takes a village, and I just have a big amount of gratitude and appreciation to everyone who has done from the smallest amount to the biggest contribution. Thank you so much for that. And, also I just really want to talk about solidarity. Right now, we've really seen the intersection of Black and Brown solidarity really come together, and I think that this is a movement that needs to continue going forward. And again, to echo the words of my sister Frida here, we're stronger together. There's a lot of strength in numbers, and together we're going to move those mountains. Together we're going to move seas, and together even the heavens are going to hear us, whether it be for Black Lives Matter, for Vanessa, for Sean, for George, for Brianna, for everybody. For Andres, we're gonna do it.
Again, thank you all for being here. I do want to speak on, I think we all know why we're here, but just to really name it and speak to it. We are here for Vanessa Guillen, the U.S. Army soldier and trained small arms artillery repairer at Fort Hood, Texas. Earlier this year, she confessed to her family that she's being sexually harassed by a fellow armed service member. Shortly after, she went missing on April 22nd. Earlier this month, her remains were found near the Leon River, Texas, showing she was brutally murdered. She was just 20 years old. As heartbroken as we are for you, Vanessa, and your family, we know that you are so much more than just another tragic story. You are so much more than just a victim. You are loved and admired by your family and your friends. You love to learn and graduated in the top 15% of your class. You're an athlete and a patriot who loved jogging, sports, and your country. You even told your father, since you were 12, that it was your dream to serve in the armed forces when you were young. By marching today, we seek justice to transform Vanessa Guillen's tragedy into triumph, to transform her victimhood into victory. Today we march to honor all the beauty and her love her life embodied. We march to demand a congressional investigation into her murder, the passage of the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill to allow armed service members to report sexual assault and sexual harassment to an independent authority, and to end all recruitment to the armed services until justice for Vanessa Guillen's life is realized. Rigo will talk about this, but this is a peaceful demonstration. We are exercising our First Amendment rights of free speech and freedom to assemble. Please maintain 6 feet of distance, as well as masks. We do have extra masks here. But to get started, we have Lisa here, who is just a beautiful member of our community, who will be giving a land recognition as well as prayer to open our ceremony here. So thank you for being here, and let's welcome Lisa.
feel. That's what Kamati. I'm very honored to be here. But of course, like my sister Samantha mentioned, it's unfortunate that we have to be here. I want to say a little prayer for us as we go on this march, on this camino. That is, for me, it is, all of these marches are very symbolic and figurative. It's like the road that we are walking here on out to create the world that we want to. But first and foremost, I want to recognize the people of this land, the Ohlone tribe, the Estelin tribe, giving all of the respect to them, asking for, intuitively, telepathically, for their permission, because it's so important that we acknowledge indigenous people, because colonialism and indigeneity, they're very opposite paradigms, and they cannot exist side by side. Colonialism feels like everything is up for grabs, everything belongs to me, and indigeneity shows respect, asks for permission for everything. You know, when we go camping, when we're sitting on the grass even, you know, ask for permission for the ants. We are invading your space, hormiguitas. We are invading your space, pajaritos. You know, we, humanity, we need to be asking for permission from nature and be one with it. And so all of this is very relative to what has happened to our sister Vanessa, because colonialism, that authority that you have over someone else's body, you know, that's what led to her death. And so I want us to pray for all of the women of the planet, brown women, black women, all women, because the way that we treat women is a reflection of how we treat the earth. We rape the earth, we pillage the earth. And the same happens with our mujeres. So prayers for the mujeres, but I cannot ask for prayers for the women without also asking for prayers of the men. Because just as much as we want to pray for victims, we have to pray even more for perpetrators, for the perpetrators. And also reflecting on military and war. You know, what are all of these wars about? Why do we need a military? When you really think about it, it's just to protect the interests of old, rich, white men. Every single war. And so I envision the day that we don't need a military. And I love these beautiful shirts that I'm seeing people wearing. Vanessa's army. Because we are an army. We are redefining militancy. We are being very militant and taking up space here. We are being militant in declaring the world that we want to live in, because that is what the colonizer did. All he did was write on a piece of paper and said, this is what it is. Like, that's all that they've done. The Constitution, the Doctrine of Discovery, it was just a piece of paper that was written and said, look, read this, and all of you have to follow by these words. So also reflecting on the power of palabra. All of us who have indigenous ancestry and African ancestry too, there is a lot of teaching behind the power of a word and naming something. So something I've been practicing as well is trying to change my language and not saying white supremacy anymore. Because white people are not supreme. It's a delusion. White inferiority complex is one. White delusion. You know, so we have to start naming things for what they are. There's power. That's why we keep saying, say her name, say his name, because we know the power of that. So just reminding us all of what we already know. You know, I'm just a regular person, you know, but we all have wisdom. We all have wisdom, and we all need to tap into it. And so thank you, each and every one of you, for coming out of your way, making the time in your day to come here, to get up early, to get ready, because something called you, your heart was moved, and you feel something inside of you. There is like a massive spiritual awakening happening. I always like to acknowledge the spiritual dimension of everything that is happening in the material world. We have to acknowledge what's happening in the material world, yes, but we have to acknowledge the spiritual aspect of everything in the material world, because they say, the elders say, that before something is brought into the material world, like what they did to our sister Vanessa, somebody thought it first in their mind, and they thought it first in their spirit before they took action on what they did to her. And I don't even know what else they did to her. We don't know what our sister had to go through. But praying for her family, for her mama, and praying for all the mamas, praying for our wombs, for the wombs of all the women on the planet, praying for the healing of our men, that we may help them redefine what it means to be masculine, because also those are all colonial ideas of what we have, what it means to be a man. Those are all colonial ideas. We have so much wisdom in our DNA, all our beautiful people of color, all people, but we have to tap into that wisdom. So, Mother, Father, God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on this day, calling on all of our spirits, all of our guides to join us today, to guide us, guard us, direct us, protect us, to help us beyond this demonstration. Help us to take all of the beauty and all of the unity that we're feeling at this demonstration, but help us to continue demonstrating once this demonstration is over. Help us to continue to protest, so to speak, in our day-to-day lives and moment to moment. Help us to shed light on people who may not understand, who are still carrying a veil of ignorance, a veil of hatred. Help us to have compassion. Help us to have compassion. Give us the power of understanding. Calling on all our ancestors, all the beautiful spirit guides to guide us. Yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana ya wana ho 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 yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana ya wana ho 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 yana hey ne yo yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana ya wana ho 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 yana hey yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana yana ho yana wana yana ho yana wana yana hey ne yo hey yana wana ya wana ho 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 asking for your guidance on this day. Guide us, guard us, direct us, protect us on this beautiful road that we are about to walk. Keep us protected. Keep our hearts in the right place. Help to heal our broken hearts, that broken heart that brought us here. Keep that fire lit in our hearts, Creator, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Julissa, for that beautiful opening ceremony and song. Our first speaker for today comes from the Monterey Rape Crisis Center. She is an educator, prevention educator, who will speak to us today about the importance of education and prevention. As Julissa was saying, that as much as we have to pray and center our work around victims, we also need to seek to end rape culture in all aspects of our society, starting with our conscience, starting with ourselves, and starting in our communities. So without further ado, here's Miss Rita.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Elisa. It was great. I'm also honored to be here, but again, it's very unfortunate that we do have to be here. My work asked me if I could come and speak on, sexual violence and justice for Vanessa Guillen. And at first, I was really apprehensive. I have a 9-month-old baby, and I was like, I don't know if I can leave him. I don't know if I want to go, but this is really important, and this is something that I would love for my son to know, that I came and I spoke on the injustices that she has had to face, and it took so long for action to be taken, right? Like, why did she not have any help? She reached out to friends, she reached out to other soldiers about what was happening, and like her sister said, was it just taken as a joke? She's not a joke, and unfortunately this happens on a daily basis, and I see all of your posters, your letreros, and it says, why recruit them if you're not going to protect them? No los recluten si no los van a proteger, right? It's you romanticize this, protection of your country and of patriotism, and this is all going to happen for you, and it's going to be great. But what happens behind closed doors? Like, search the hashtag I am Vanessa Guillen and see how many times this has happened over and over again, and how sexual violence is just taken as a joke. How she reached out and nobody did anything. Her family had to fundraise for a private investigator before anything was done. And the army has done nothing for her. And I see all of your wonderful shirts. We are her army. We're here to fight We're here to get justice for Vanessa. We're here to fight for her. And I'm here to let you know that I work for, as Nick said, the Monterey County Rape Crisis Center. There's so much support. It's so wonderful. We do our very best to end sexual violence, especially in our community. So I'm here to let you know that, we're here to help as much as we can, as best as we can. It doesn't have to happen to you directly. If you want to talk about Vanessa's situation, about a family situation, you can call us. We have a crisis line, and it's available 24/7. We're constantly fighting for all of these injustices, for Vanessa's injustices, for the Black Lives Matter movement, all of that. We even have clubs at Salinas High School, Gonzalez High School, Seaside, for young men and for young women, and it's teaching them how to dismantle toxic masculinity, right? Because like Elisa said, that's just an idea that was built up through colonialism of we have to be strong and we have to just take what we believe to be ours when it's not. We have to ask for permission out of respect. And I teach that to kids as young as kindergarten, and they understand that. So why can't adults understand that when it comes to sexual violence? Not everything is ours. You can't just take it. So I'm just here to let you know that we're here for you. We're here for Vanessa. We're here to, get justice for her, right? We don't want them to recruit our Latino and Latina brothers and sisters, our Black men and women, if they're not going to protect them, right? And a lot of times what I hear from folks who I don't work with and who I tell what I do, they try to justify sexual violence as sexual frustration. And that's not it. Sexual violence is about power and control. And this is exactly what happened in this situation. Somebody was in a position of power and they took advantage of that power and they tried to control that other person. And now this person has passed, and I cannot imagine. I have a son, like I said, I cannot imagine having to go. You're thinking about where my child is, right? And nobody helps them. Who's helping me find my kid, right? So we're here for Mama Guillen. We're here for her sister, who said her sister is not a joke. She's a sister. Some of you have sisters, you have mothers, you have daughters, right? We want justice for her. We don't want any more recruitment until you're going to protect them. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. The Rape Crisis Center we are bilingual. We have services in Spanish and English. We do our best also to help communities who speak indigenous languages, so Triqui or any of that sort, because we also work in South County. We do our best to find any sort of interpreters we have with that, or do our best to kind of communicate. Some of our services include, it's called the Sexual Assault Response Team. What that is a team of law enforcement, nurses, and one of us as an advocate. Either a survivor will go to law enforcement and report what's occurred to them, or they'll go to an emergency room at either Natividad Hospital or CHOMP, and we will be an advocate for them. They can decide whether they want to report, they can decide whether they want to talk to us, take the test, and it's a very long process. We're there for them. We're there to fight for any survivors of sexual violence. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. And thank you all for being here to fight for justice for Vanessa. We know how it's important. We are her army. So thank you, and I hope Mama Guillen is really proud of us for this.
Thank you, Ms. Rita, and shout out to the Monterey County Rape Crisis Center for all the amazing work that they do. Just want to echo some of the truth that was spoken from Ms. Rita, is that what happened to Vanessa is it was someone taking advantage and using their power for terrible purposes. As people who are still alive today, we have to recognize that privilege, because that was taken away from Vanessa, and we have to use our privilege, our life, our bodies to demand justice for her. Me as a cis straight male, excuse me, I'm not white, but someone who was born, who identifies with the gender that I was assigned to at birth, and who is a straight male in a society who puts heterosexuality and heteronormativity above other marginalized communities. It's important for me and for all of us, no matter how we identify, to use our power and our privilege to fight for those who are victimized and who are attacked, and to actively work to prevent those things from happening. Rigo, are you ready? Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the march and how we're going to move safely through this, and then we'll have a couple more speakers and then we'll get going. What do you want to?
He's not ready yet.
Stand by. People are watching. That's right. Social distancing. Something. It's very important. How's everybody doing out there? Sounds like y'all just woke up. How you doing out there? That's the spirit. That's what I'm talking about right now. That's the energy that we need. That positive energy. It's vibing right now. Right now, you can feel it passing along, everybody, just like Julissa said. I want to introduce a gentleman that I just met in the parking lot. He was here, he's seen what's going on. He's an Army veteran. His name is Roberto. He's going to give you a brief description of and you know what, it's here for our veterans, because technically this is what we are here defending. One of our U.S. soldiers, United States America soldier, Vanessa Guillen. We are here for her. We're going to march for her. People are going to be here to speak for her. So without further ado, I'm going to present you Roberto. He'll be touching base on MST and his experience as an Army veteran. Round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today, just to be here in the presence of this young lady. That what she was doing was something so beneficial for the country, but she was cut short. But she's in heaven. I know where she's at, because in my heart, advocacy, just look in her eyes, I know she's in a better place. Some of these things that happen to us veterans in the military, I served for 12 years and I was honorably discharged. But when I was in Germany, I was sexually abused, you know, and they tried to cover it up. I was only 18 when I first got to Germany. My first tour was to Germany. And it's really a shame because the government don't really care about us. It seems like we're just serving the country to listen to what the president asks us to do, but yet we're jeopardizing our lives. And look what happened to this beautiful young lady. She wasn't deserving of that. But you know, this is supposed to be the land of the free and the brave, right? And look what happens to us all. And then it's like we don't get no type of blessings behind that. It's just like we just put to the side. But you know, I believe that today, all you guys coming together to represent something that is so beautiful, you know what I mean? Veterans all around the world. My niece, she's right now in Afghanistan. She's only like 24 years old. And I pray for her every day. And my son just joined the Marines, so he's in the Marines right now in training. I don't know why he wanted to be a Marine, but that's what was in his heart, you know? So everybody else was Army, but I'm happy for him and I pray for him every day. So I just wanted to say, you know, this is a serious problem that the military has. They just don't really want to care and take care of people's families after stuff like this. They just like to put us on the shelf again until your number comes up, then you're served. And that's not right, you know what I mean? Because the people out there giving their lives every day for this wonderful country that we live in, well, then they need to take care of us the same way, you know what I mean? We take care of our country, take care of us too. You know, and so that's all I got to say. It's a pleasure to be here in front of you guys. My name's Roberto Aponte, soy puertorriqueño, soy de Puerto Rico. Estamos unidos, latinos, para siempre, ¿ok? Que viva los taínos. Let's hear it for Roberto.
So my name is Rigo Avila. I'm from Greenfield, California. Grassroots associate of Unidos. The t-shirts that we have, there's a couple of members here. We're gonna I have a couple more speakers going our way down streets. Your streets. Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
That's right, these are our streets. And just like my brother said right here, this is our country. It's time that we take it back. Sorry, I got my just this match right here. It's going in my mouth. Gotta put it down real quick, but you know, it's beautiful to see everyone out here, all this engagement that's going on, this action. Like my brother Chago said, you know, activated people out here. All different diversities, all different backgrounds. That's the way it should be, and we shouldn't even think about that twice. We are here for Vanessa Guillen. Now, we might not all be soldiers, but in honor of her, we are her soldiers now. We've been recruited by her, by the universe, by God, or whatever it is that you believe in. We have been brought to this collective now for her to bring justice, because that's what it's about. And it's all of us have our struggles, just like my brother here. It wasn't by coincidence that I met him. It was destiny that we met him out here today. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be walking to the heart of Ranch Plaza. We have some volunteers that will be coordinating the march as well to keep us safe. We are doing this in unity. Let's help each other out, protect each other. If there's anything that you see out of pocket, let someone with the radio know. We will be having a caravan that's going in front of us. And with that said, forgive me, I don't remember the quote truly too much, but it's Cesar Chavez, he said it himself. Take any injustice in the world like it happened to you. And that's what we're doing today! Viva Vanessa!
All right, good morning.
Good morning!
And thank you for being here. Thank you to Rigo for inviting me. and the angels of change, agents of change.
Thank you very much, angels.
This is a true honor. My name is Christopher Barrera, President of the League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, Council 2055. The mission of LULAC is to advance the economic condition, educational attainment, political influence, housing, health, and civil rights of the Hispanic population of the United States. I would first like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming out and supporting the memory of Vanessa Guillen and her family. Secondly, I would like to say how disgusted and fed up I am with everything that is going on in our country. We can all do better and treat each other with love and respect. It's a lot to handle and deal with at the same time keeping your sanity. But we must do what is right and keep fighting the good fight.
Let's hear it, come on, man!
It's a sad day when we find the need to march for a beautiful Latina who was barely 20 years old named Vanessa Guillen, who was viciously murdered on a United States Army base named Fort Hood in Texas. Vanessa Guillen, a United States soldier stationed in Texas who was serving her country, goes missing in April from the United States Army base. And the military drags their feet on the investigation, all to preserve the military's reputation. What about Vanessa and her family? She had her life ripped away from her. Her family is left to grieve for their loss. This is not the way it's supposed to be. Vanessa was just beginning her life, and one would think, what better way than to serve her country? The Guillen family deserves better. Vanessa deserves better. We want justice for Vanessa. Miss Vanessa Guillen had her life stolen from her all because this individual could not control himself and abuses power over her. He sexually harassed Vanessa. Vanessa mentioned the harassment to her mother and her family. And when she told him of her intentions, he beat Vanessa to death with a hammer, dismembered her body with a machete. What kind of person does this? This just keeps getting worse as more information is discovered. That coward took the easy way out. This is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. We want justice for Vanessa. But what really happened to Vanessa as far as the U.S. Army is concerned? How did her remains end up 30 miles away from the base? What is the second suspect charged with? Unfortunately, we will never hear it straight from the horse's mouth, as this coward named Aaron David Robinson committed suicide after being confronted by police. He will not face the consequences. The U.S. Army at Fort Hood is doing their best to deflect and cover up this horrific tragedy, and is not working with the family's attorney and just trying to keep it all in-house. We at LULAC 2055 are proud that LULAC National President Domingo Garcia is in direct contact with the Guillen family and has been working with the family since this all began. At the present time, LULAC National is demanding a congressional investigation. Before the two suspects were found, the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation and LULAC each pledged $25,000 for any information on the suspect's whereabouts. We want justice for Vanessa now. LULAC National President Domingo Garcia is urging all women, especially Latina women or their families, do not enlist in the Army until we have assurance that they will be protected and taken care of when they serve our country. Right now, we just don't believe the military is capable of doing that because of what happened to Vanessa. All you have to do is use the hashtag #IamVanessaGuillen, and you will see all the stories of women in the Army who are sharing their own sexual harassment and assault stories because of what happened to Vanessa. We want justice for Vanessa. I don't think this could not happen to any one of you. We all have family members who are serving in the military. I pray it is not happening, but with everything that's coming out right now, what are the chances? One thing I would like to mention is, if you see something, you say something. If you hear something, you say something. Call the local authorities. If you're scared, have someone call for you. Or you know what? Call LULAC 2055. We will be there for you, guaranteed. That is what we do. We want justice for Vanessa. We hope we find justice for you, Vanessa, and you may change the way the military conducts themselves when something like this occurs. Because the way it is right now, it is definitely not working. I am glad there's so much support for her and her family here today. We send our prayers and love to the Guillen family. We all need to do our part to better our country. And the way you do that is at the ballot box. Please register to vote, and please take the time to vote. It is one thing to say you will, but then there's another thing to actually follow through. We are all depending on you. And now I have an update from our national LULAC president, Domingo Garcia. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia and representatives from LULAC said the Army Secretary is going to ask the Department of Defense to conduct a full review of Vanessa's case. Secretary of the Army Ryan McCarthy will recommend the Department of Defense conduct a full independent review of the entire Vanessa Guillen case. Along with Domingo Garcia, National President, and Cindy Benavides, our CEO. In addition to the review, Sylvia Garcia and McCarthy will put together an expert panel to review everything specific to the Fort Hood handling of sexual harassment claims. And LULAC national members will be included on this panel. So thank you very much for attending today. I'm proud to be speaking here today, and let's get justice for Vanessa. Thank you.
One more time, round of applause for LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens. Salinas Council 2055, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
And without further ado, let's get ready. Let's get a little bit loud, because we are ready to march. We're ready to get going. If you want to where the volunteers at? Come on. Traffic control, Fredo.
All right, bro. Woo! Vanessa Guillen! Turn it around if you can help it. Oh, I'll get some up there. The building, not people. Justice! Now! Justice! Now! Justice! Now! What do we want? Justice! Now! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! Pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido
Justice for Vanessa!
Thank you.
Congressional investigation!
people don't stop. Say what? Say what? Ain't no time. Ain't no time. What? Ain't no time. Say what? Ain't no time like the power of the people, 'cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no time like the power of the people, 'cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no time like the power of the people, 'cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no time like the power of the people, 'cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no time like the power of the people, 'cause the power of the people don't stop. Attention everybody! Attention, attention! Sam, come back me up over here. Sam. All right, nothing's happening. We're just stopping real quick to reflect what's going on. Look at the power that this group has right now. If you look behind you real quick, we just stopped traffic. If we all get together and strive together and keep uniting our forces together, if we could just stop traffic, imagine what we could do when we're 1,000 strong, 5,000 strong, 10,000 strong. Right now, California is united with Texas right now and across the nation as well. You know, next week they're going to be marching in Washington, D.C. from the Capitol to the White House to let them know we don't want it white no more. We don't want it white no more. And this will be all colors right there. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to walk amongst you with my brothers and sisters. I'm going to pass a couple words to Samantha, but I just want to say, you see that? You hear that? You hear that? See? Let's get a round of applause for yourself real quick. Come on, round of applause. I want to hear what's up. Check it out. What's up, Nick? What's up, man? What do you got to say to your people?
Beautiful show, y'all. Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving.
We're about halfway there, bro. We're going to continue marching. We're going to continue chanting. democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Our street!
Vanessa Guillen. Vanessa Guillen. Vanessa Guillen. Our street. 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 justice, no peace. No 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 justice, no peace. No
ourselves another round of applause for making that march, for taking back the streets, demanding justice for Vanessa. That's why we're here. We're going to go ahead and get started with our speakers. We have Karina Ramirez, recent graduate with a master's from CSUMB, speaking the words of a veteran from Fort Hood. So these are very powerful stories, so here's Karina.
Good afternoon. Again, I want to thank Agents of Change for making this happen today and uniting us. As he mentioned, we are, myself, members of a Unidos grassroots organization in South County. So little things like this, different groups uniting together can make a difference, and we can be heard. It doesn't matter if it's one or two or three people, one voice is enough. So with that said, on behalf of Monica Andrade, I'm here to share her story. She was not able to make it today, but she has given us a permission to share her story, and she is Vanessa Guillen. So with that said, hello, buenas tardes. My name is Monica Andrade. I'm an Army veteran. I served my country proudly in the Army for 7 years. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to come out here in solidarity with SBC Vanessa Guillen. We all here because we heard a mother's plea. We watched her cry and we were heartbroken. ¿Dónde está mi hija?" she asked. We watched a mother stand her ground and single-handedly mobilized an army in search for her baby girl. Her warrior, su hija guerrera. She brought the mighty U.S. Army to their knees. You all heard her call for action, and here we are answering that call. I thank you for that. It is now our turn. We are now Vanessa's army. We are here to call for our politicians into action to demand a congressional investigation into her disappearance and murder. But now, that is not enough. We are here to call on the military to reform what they do when soldiers go missing under suspicious circumstances. But even that is not enough. Most importantly, we also here to call our Congress to look into how the military handles sexual harassment. Service members should never have to accept sexual assault as part of the deal. Soldiers need to know that sexual assault has no place in the military. And when a soldier comes forward, she needs to know justice will be served. I'm here to let you know that although Vanessa Guillen is no longer with us, there are hundreds more just like her, putting these wounds aside and still proudly serving our country. And when you rise up for Vanessa, you rise up for them too. You rise up for me. When we get justice for Vanessa, we will send a firm stance that will no longer tolerate sexual assault in the military or in our farm fields or our homes. I'm here to tell you, I believe Vanessa Guillen was sexually assaulted. I believe she didn't come forward sooner because she knew the obstacles she would face and the repercussions that comes with it. I know because I am Vanessa Guillen. I was 19. I was a soldier at Fort Hood. I was left alone overnight in a field exercise with someone who was supposed to be my brothers in arms. He sexually assaulted me. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. When I made him out, he ran and hid in the bushes. I locked myself in the computer truck. I used my M16 to jam the door. I was confused. I was afraid. I cried. I am Vanessa Guillen. I thought he would come back and finish what he had started. Or worse, keep me from talking. So I wrote his name with the words, "He did it." I put it underneath my computer keyboard for my sergeant to find it in case I went missing. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. I picked up the radio so many times that night to call for help, but I didn't. I am Vanessa Guillen. I thought, who would believe me? All he had to do is deny the accusation. And suddenly, he is the victim. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. My reputation would be dragged. The bonds I had worked so hard to build with my team would be destroyed. I am Vanessa Guillen. My sergeant came back the next morning knocking on the truck. I opened the door and they asked me what's going on. I couldn't say anything. I only asked never to be left alone with him again. He came out from the bushes. He couldn't even look me in the eyes. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. I knew no one would believe me, so I tore up the paper underneath my keyboard. I felt silly even writing it. I am Vanessa Guillen. I continue to share a tent with him. I continue to work alongside him, pretending nothing happened. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. My worst fear that night was her reality. I am Vanessa Guillen. I no longer slept in my Army-issued physical training shorts, and I started to zip up the sleeping bag all the way through at night, no matter how hot it was. Yo soy Vanessa Guillen. Right before I left to serve a tour in Germany, another girl found him in her room, sniffing her underwear. She is Vanessa Guillen. And the story continues. Ni una más. Ni una más. Ni una más. Justice for Vanessa Guillen. Justice for Gregory Morales. Justice for Johnson. Justice for Krista Martinez. Justice for all victims of sexual assault in the military, our fields, our homes. I want to take this opportunity to thank my husband, my rock. His unconditional love and support has helped me through my past. My kids, my purpose, so they one day live in a healed nation. My mother, my strength. She always taught me to always pick myself up with the dignity and grace. My father, my North Star, always gently pointing me in the right direction. Sergeant Hammond in Chicago for believing me and understanding me. His words gave me the rest of the strength I needed to come forward. To the NCO who left me behind that night, when I read his comment about Vanessa, he lit a fire in me that can no longer be deterred anymore to speak my truth in front of all of you. And lastly, thank you all who are here today. You are my hope for change and justice. They can't ignore one voice. They can drown out a single shout, no matter how passionate. But they can't ignore us all when we shout name together. I am Vanessa Guillen.
Monica's not here with us, but a big round of applause for Monica. Before I introduce our next speaker, we had the luxury to meet Monica at a Vanessa Guillen protest here in Salinas, California. I think there's some people that were there that day. We had met some hostility. In the end, we prevailed. We started hearing this woman speak at the very end, which is the same story that was shared today. And let me tell you, I don't know if you felt that, but I know you did. You all felt that. That's just one of the other stories that's going on. And we're fortunate enough to continue to share that story with you all. So with that said, I want to just a round of applause because I know we have brothers, I know we have sisters, I know we have nieces, I know we have nephews, I know we have friends who are in the military right now. And some might be afraid to speak, but everything that you do today helps them to speak up. And everything that you're doing today is speaking up. Your presence is speaking up. So, God bless you all. Without further ado, I want to introduce Kenya. Where you at, Kenya? Where's she at? Where's she at? There she is, there she is. I had the same, the universe has conspired for all these people that we keep meeting, networking with, you know, and I just want to say she's a beautiful person. She's young, and she's ambitious, she's driven, she's educated. Let me tell you, she's a threat to this world, man. And all of you are too, you know, but we're a threat in a good way. So you know what, without further ado, Kenya, let's hear it first.
I'm super tall, so I'm gonna move this a little. So hi everyone, my name is Kenya Burton. I just turned 20, so yes, I am what's considered young. I'm a proud African American woman, and I'm a proud Mexican American woman. I am Vanessa Guillen, I am Breonna Taylor. We need to understand that if you guys can be brave and with me, the women and even men here, if you have ever faced sexual harassment or felt uncomfortable by a superior, please raise your hand. And I want everyone to look around. These are people who are not in the military. These are people in regular jobs, regular 9 to 5, going through these things. Imagine being in the military. Imagine being away from home. Imagine not being able to escape that coworker that keeps making you uncomfortable or keeps making comments or touching you in a way that you do not want to be touched. Imagine feeling abandoned. Imagine feeling like you have to be silent and that no one will ever listen to you or that what you have gone through does not matter. Imagine how Vanessa felt. Imagine how scared she was, how terrified she was that no one was going to come help her. As they took her in those woods and they left her to rot, they abandoned her. This country abandoned us. They abandoned us a long time ago because history has shown that women of color have been left behind. Specifically, black and brown women have been left behind of history. But history has also shown that we have never left them behind. We've been in every march, we've been in every protest, we've been a part of every movement that history has documented, but no one in history has stand for us except for us. I am proof that black and brown are together, that we are one, that we are loved, that this isn't a black or white issue, that you can say Black Lives Matter and still mean everyone. It does not mean that one life is more than the other. It's just saying that we deserve to be alive and we shouldn't have to fight this hard just to breathe. And so we need to be here. Because imagine the countless women and men who are overseas fighting for our country, fighting so that we can live the way we live, and that they're being discriminated against in the worst possible way. That they are told that their stories aren't enough. Vanessa was one of thousands. Think about that. Monica was one of thousands. But yet there are people who are fighting against us that don't want us to march for Vanessa. They are a part of the problem. Your silence is a part of the problem because when we stay silent, we allow these things to continue to happen. We allow more girls like Vanessa to be killed, to be murdered and assaulted. By us staying quiet, we let the enemy win. And that is not what we're going to allow to do. Because for too long, America has only stand for one race and for one person. It needs to stand for the people who built this country, who work in their fields, who they enslaved, who they took everything from. This is our country.
That's right, Kenya.
So if we have to march, if we have to tear some stuff down, if we have to break some walls, we will.
Yeah.
than you do its people, then you are part of the problem. We don't need to be having these conversations. Because if you stand for me, I stand for you, and that should be minimum. It shouldn't be any more than that. If you stand with me, if you march beside me, we will take this country back. This is our country, and we will fight for it. Because this is the land of the free. And no one is illegal on stolen land, right? So let's stand. And this won't be the only march we have. We will continue to go and grow. And yes, we need legislation. We need to, instead, like I said before, instead of fighting for crumbs from the table, let's get in the table. Let's get in the room where it happens. Because if we have people on our side, in our rooms, on these bases, we can stop these things from happening. We can have people in power that are fighting for people. And we need that. And that's why we need more people fighting for each other and taking accountability, because this isn't, oppression Olympics. This isn't who has it worse. The people in power are still winning. The people in power are still living their lives. They care more about themselves and their money and their power than they do us. And we may not have that, but we have each other. So we'll keep fighting. We'll keep marching. And we demand justice. Justice for Vanessa Guillen.
Round of applause for Kenya. Beautiful. Round of applause for Karina. Monica's truth. Thank you, Karina. We're going to open the mic up, so if anybody wants to speak their truth, tell their story. If you have poems, speeches from the heart, or whether written or off the top, please come up. I think we want her to close. Oh, you gotta go? Okay. Alright, we got Missy coming. I'll allow you to introduce yourself. Very powerful speaker here. We're so happy to have her. So here's Missy.
Sorry, actually my pronouns are they, them.
Yeah, there you go. So shut them out.
Yeah, so I want to thank Agents of Change for putting this all together, and Unidos, and everyone else who's out here. All of us, standing in solidarity. This is a powerful moment. This is a powerful moment in history in our time. And straight up, everything that's happening, the brutality, the sexual assault, it happens to men, women, trans, queer, non-binary. I'm a proud non-binary person. Many times we are erased throughout history, throughout everything that's happening. Now imagine how this country, how this administration, this government deals with sexual assault, deals with brutal assaults on people. Most people who are trans and non-binary, they go, just like everyone else, going into these military branches and fighting for the freedom of people and being assaulted by people that they aren't even attracted to. That is a whole different type of spiritual, emotional, physical, mental breakdown. You can see throughout history, they do not take sexual assault serious. They literally do everything in their power to keep us disenfranchised, to keep silencing our voices. Think about the most recent elections. Prop 57, it did have a little bow on it to release non-offenders, but in that prop, hidden in between the lines, rape is no longer a violent felony. If someone is raped while they're sleeping, it's not even considered rape. Straight up. And when you think about these systems in place, when you think about the United States itself, this continent we're on is the Americas. The United States itself was created, the genocide of indigenous people, the enslavement of majority of black people and people who are not pure white. And when they were drafting up these constitutions, these amendments, people were still enslaved. They literally were writing those to keep people of color, black and brown, indigenous people disenfranchised. The 4th of July is Independence Day. Juneteenth is. But even then, we're still not free because slavery just went to prisons. That is the modern day slavery. Most of the products that you use today is made with prison labor.
100%.
Straight up. And just how people in the military, they are just, yeah, shame. They are used just like that, how the same systems as prison. Look at here, this community, I don't know about y'all, but I don't see a lot of recruitment centers in white affluent neighborhoods. I don't think I even ever seen one in a white affluent neighborhood. But it's way out here in the valley where I know the majority of people out here are brown, black, indigenous. So keep in mind that these systems are never meant to help us. But like Homegirl was saying earlier, don't be silent. Don't let that deter you from what really needs to happen, from action, from change. And yesterday, I'm going to emphasize this because yesterday I got into it with someone about voting. Keep in mind, of course these systems aren't designed to help us. Of course they are created to keep us disenfranchised. Of course the system will never work for us. But think about our ancestors who died fighting for our right to vote. So when people tell you not to vote and to not be, especially in local political matters, no, we need to get up in there. Like Homegirl said, we need to demand a place at the table. We need to demand justice. We need to demand people who are officials in power. We vote to be our voice, to actually be our voice. This bill that's coming up is so important, the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill, because it would allow people to report sexual assaults to a third party outside of the military. And that is very important. You know, when you think about these different police unions and, military administrators, they all want to keep it in-house so that they can keep it on the low, hush it. And think about how long this has been normalized to where people are literally being assaulted and it feels wrong to speak on it because it's so normalized. It's so demonized to speak out, to say, no, this is what happened to me, because no one will listen to them. They want to keep it in-house. They want to keep controlling us. They want to keep our voices suppressed while they're exploiting us, abusing us. And all these systems are connected. ICE detention centers. I was incarcerated at 11 years old. Back then, they were strip searching us completely. I'm about to be 30, but in my lifetime, I've been strip searched thousands of times before I even knew what my sexuality was, before I even knew anything about consent, my body. They literally break us down from the very beginning so that when we grow up and we want to contribute, like Vanessa did to her country, to fight for her country, even when she was a little girl, she knew what she wanted to do. But these systems literally broke her down before she even had an ability to find her voice. As she was growing and evolving, she couldn't even speak out because these systems keep us silenced. And then they demonize us for speaking out. This bill is so important. I can't stress it how important it is. It's going to open the door to abolishing police unions, to abolishing these in-house systems. We really need to demand our voices to be heard. We need to demand a seat at that table, at the head of that fucking table.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You feel me? Because I am tired of privileged, white, old, majority men making decisions about our black, brown, indigenous communities. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them only having to say of where our money goes. That's why it's so important to be involved in these local politics. Because I guarantee you, Karen, Betty, and Sue, and every privileged Kevin or whatever is coming up, they are in those meetings. They are voting. That's why everything is continuously reproducing social hierarchies to where all the power is to them, while the lower socioeconomic communities of black and brown, indigenous, we continue to be disenfranchised. For us who have the privilege of being able to vote in this country, we really need to use that. You feel me? Not just because our ancestors died fighting for our right to vote, but because our undocumented family, our family that's locked up in prisons, where their bodies count, but their voices do not. There's also coming up on the ballot to give felons back their right to vote. We need to vote on that. We need to vote on things that are really going to make a difference at the local level, at the national level, at the international level. Western imperialism stretches way beyond just this continent. Think about Evo Morales. He was the president of Bolivia. He was a farm worker who rose to power because he was one and the same of his people, until the US concocted this coup to run him out of power. And now Elon Musk is raping that land for their lithium. And that's exactly what they're doing to all of us. This, our motherland, our brothers, our sisters, our non-binary folks, our trans folks. They will continue to do this. So it's so important that we are here building community, building solidarity. And remember, this moment in time of this momentum, it's not gonna last forever. You look throughout history, pay attention to history, because I guarantee you see so many things repeating itself, evolving in different ways. What we manifest out of this movement, out of this momentum, is what we need to create that's going to be sustainable, because this energy is not going to be sustainable, I guarantee it. When the pandemic is gone and things are going back to normal, people are going to forget. Look at, shit ain't trending anymore, but we're still living it, and we're going to live it long after it's not here no more. We're going to live it, and we're going to continue to have the faith that people are going to continue to rise with us. You know, a lot of our civil rights leaders are passing away right now, and it's very important that we carry that torch. The work has already been done for decades. I am an abolitionist. I believe the whole system needs to go. But in order to do that, we need to be on all different fronts. I'm talking about organizing in the streets, being in city council meetings, voting on local matters, building community. It needs to be all simultaneously going on at once. There's not one way to keep the revolution going. It needs to encompass everything. Everything is political in the world that we are living in. What you eat is political. What you read, what you watch, what you drink. Look at our water. Our indigenous people's protecting our water for us all. They don't even know me. They don't even know you. But they are fighting, putting their lives and their body on the lines. And shout out to the water protectors and Standing Rock, who literally have people. They gotta empty out that motherfucking pipeline by August 5th. They did that. We all did that together. It's all interconnected. All of our liberation struggles are rooted within each other's. Rooted in the black liberation struggle and the indigenous liberation struggle. Because remember, this country was created off the genocide of indigenous and the enslavement and mass also genocide of black people. People were not pure white. So don't forget, all of our struggles are intertwined. Look at right now. I'm in the middle of my transition, and literally the administration just rolled back healthcare protections for trans people. So imagine people now, doctors are legally able to just let us die. I have the privilege of living in California. We are a very progressive state, but people are living in the butt-fuck USA. So many people are going to be harmed by this. So many people are in prisons left. Abandoned, how Vanessa was feeling in all these institutions. All these institutions run the same. They bank on us staying ignorant. They bank on us not sharing knowledge and not building community and fighting each other. They bank on it. They hoping on it. They waiting on it. They wishing on it. And they doing what they doing. Think about right now. We got that fucking asshole who's supposed to be our leader of this country. At a time where all voting is going mail-in ballot, the postal service is being defunded. It's all connected. That's why it's so important, you feel me? Straight up. And it's so important that we continue to share knowledge. And remember, not everyone knows everything. I don't know everything. I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm a teacher. Same as y'all are learners, y'all are teachers. No ego, no clout. We in this together. And we can consistently do this. And remember, all these systems in place were created by humans, created by a social construct, so they can be abolished by humans. Everything that we know was created by mostly white people, but was created by humans. None of this shit's real. All this, what you wear, what you spend your money, being complicit to the system and consuming, we can't take this shit with us. When we were talking about our spiritual wealth, that is where we need to really be investing in our spiritual wealth. And using our voice. And advocating for our people to use our voices and being the change. And being the example. Because more people, when they get to use their voice, more people will be in these streets. So many people are scared to lose their comfortability. But for many of us, we've never had the privilege of being comfortable. We never had the privilege. And we won't, ever. There's no rest for us in this world. And I've come to terms with that. I will not have rest in this world. And I will die fighting. But it's necessary. Of course, I can only control myself. But by the grace of the Creator and my ancestors, I am here. While many of my peers are not. And I'm just thankful that everyone's out here. I know it's a pandemic. It's also very dangerous to be out here, but thank you. Being mindful, socially distancing, keeping each other safe. It's very important. But that goes to show you really about it. You really want change. You really fighting for Vanessa Guillen, for everyone in all the different branches, everyone in the institutions, in the ICE detention centers. They're supposed to release the kids and they're still locked down. They're literally fighting between staying with their families in detention or being released. And literally these kids are getting stolen and sold, not sold, but they're pretty much sold actually, to white people. That's fucking outrageous. They have families. They have families that want them. They have families that want them back. And they tell them they gotta pay for a DNA test. I don't know about you, but a DNA test is extremely expensive in American dollars. Now imagine in pesos and gets out. And imagine.
Woo, that's right, Missy.
You feel me? There's all these different systems in place to keep us disenfranchised, to keep us oppressed. So like homegirl was saying, I'm over fighting for the scraps that they give us. Be mindful of the shit that our officials are giving us. All these neoliberalism tactics. And learn from history. Learn from our black and brown leaders throughout history who have passed, who are still alive. Our youngsters coming up who are experiencing the times we're living in. We really need to come together and embrace everybody. Black, brown, indigenous, white, queer, trans, straight, everyone. They bank on us staying divided. They bank on us continuing to erase each other's history. We need to embrace each other. We need to continue in this, and we need to, like we are demanding justice. They're not going to give it to us. And they're going to keep rejecting it every single time. But don't let that discourage you, because the power of the people is stronger.
That's right.
We are resilient. We are powerful. And we are going to continue to do this work. This is a lifelong commitment. This isn't one event, one day, 1 week, 1 month. This is lifelong dedication. Because not only are we fighting for ourselves and our people who are here now, we are fighting for future generations. We're fighting for your kids who are out here. Fighting for our earth. For our ancestors, for our spiritual freedom. So much. So just keep that in mind. Thank you all. Let's continue doing this work. weaponize our minds.
Weaponize.
Straight up. And let's continue to do this. Thank you. Justice for Vanessa Guillen!
Hey guys, my name's Courtney. I grew up in Salinas. I moved out when I was about 19 and moved to Oregon, and as you all know right now, Portland is in hellfire. I've been working in my hometown of Bend, Oregon. It's a little town. We've got a lot of racism there. I'm so happy to be here with you guys and see the community come together and just hear people on the street like cheering us on, because I'm used to getting coal rolled when exhaust in our face. So I wrote a little something I'm going to be recording next week, but I wanted to share it with you guys. It's regarding the BLM movement. So here we go. It has music with it, but it's going to be a cappella. So much hate inside of me, I feel like I'm falling. They keep coming, but won't let them win. See, we're fighting for our families, fighting for our friends. If you think that smoking gas will stop us, better think again. We live through this suffering and we won't let it last. You will tell us all lives matter and it's in the past, but boys are getting lynched outside and children pepper gas. Military in the city, but the upper class. We will fight, fight till we see some change, and we won't go back to your normal again. There's a strange fruit growing on the trees, my friend, and we will be the one to make this great again. How long must we be silent? Be patient to be heard. They say be good, they won't get violent. She was asleep when she was murdered. How can we put our faith in a system when it's not even safe to be a woman fighting for her own country, and you claim the land of the free? And we will fight, fight till we see some change, and we won't go back to your normal again. And there's a bad mood rising in the streets, my friends, and we will be the ones to make this great again. What Missy said doesn't stop here. We've got a long fight to go. We've been fighting this since slavery ended, since Juneteenth, and we're still fighting. We cannot give up. You need to share, you need to come to these things, you need to post. We are the media now. Media has failed us. You need to come out, you need to live stream. You gotta have that all sent to you. I don't know how many racist people we have in our families here, but you know, I am so proud to be in the Mexican culture where at least I can speak for my family, so we accept everyone as family. And that's what we gotta do. America, we gotta get together as family. We need to get together. Thank you guys.
All right, y'all. Mic is hot. Mic's open. Thank you, Courtney, for that beautiful song. Anybody want to come up, speak their truth? Mic is open.
Cause if it ain't about power, it don't make sense. I've been down with Boogie Down since BDP, so brown pride and black power make RPG. A OG told me choose battles wisely. In the struggle, don't forget your children and your wife. If you don't see me on the podium preaching it, every day I hope my every action is teaching it. Cause revolution is a process, it's not a speech or a panel. But right off more than you can handle.
En Palestina, con todos los estudiantes por educación gratuita. I'm with workers uprising and the right to unionize. We cross the border, so you better be better, I ain't down with the rich. I'm more Richie Perez. Don't talk to grand juries or cooperate with feds. I'm with students, doctors, janitors, teachers. We need living wages, but they don't believe us. Monida, Rodeo, Spofford, Huntsville, Mopper, Modern, Isla, Region, Forces, forming our deck, taking over buildings, writing TS for the children.
Politics to sickness, streets express symptoms. Caught up with a quickness, big business hipster. Scholars play the simples and fools play with wisdom. Who will stand and fight back? Who will play the victim? Trials and tribulations, injured generations. Stolen history and outsourced innovation. Babel Tower fell, tribes are at war. The battle story's not represented in the score. The game's fixed, most of the faces and names switched. Credit stolen for all science, religion, language, technology, philosophy, and what strange is. They paid in patient for the knowledge of the ancients. Power in words, actions.
All right, y'all, before we start heading out, I know we got like one or two more announcements to make, but we just totally want to emphasize our right to register, a right for your voice to be heard, register to vote. We really, I think a lot of our folks out here are really trying to maximize this voting potential that we all have, that we have within our communities. Let's work to get this, let's work to get 100% participation, voter participation. They need to hear our voices. Let's make it happen this way, folks. All right? So let's make it happen, y'all.
Just want to let everybody know, also we have plenty of snacks left over, so feel free to take some home. Follow at Agents of Change 831 on Instagram for more updates and calls to action. Tuesday is the Monterey County Board of Supervisors meeting. We're showing up via Zoom or in person, whatever you feel comfortable with, to demand that our county takes action to relieve and stop the COVID outbreak that's happening in our prison or in our jail right now, as well as demand that we protect our communities from hazardous pesticide. The program to notify people of hazardous pesticide just eliminated last week, so lots of action happening and lots of things that we need to fight for. Obviously today is for Vanessa Guillen, and we're going to keep fighting for her, so make sure that you call your representatives and demand that they back that bill, I am Vanessa Guillen, so that way we get justice for Vanessa. So thank you all for coming out, much love, and yeah, thank you.
Hey guys, you guys might be tired of hearing me speak, but I did want to come out and really speak to the demands that Vanessa's mom has been making. So she has a couple very specific demands that, again, Vanessa Guillen's mother and her family have been making. One of them that I think is one of the most important pieces to this, and I feel like we don't hear enough about, is that her mom is demanding a moratorium on all recruits into all branches of the military until justice is served for her daughter. And I think that us as Latinos, we enlist in the military at a disproportionately higher rate to our population numbers. It's black and brown bodies that get sent to the front lines to fight the wars of rich white men, and that has been true historically since the foundation of this country. So I think that it's very important for us to go out into our circles, for us to talk to our friends, to our family members, to everybody that we know, and let them know that this is the demand of Vanessa's mom, of Vanessa's family. Again, a moratorium on all recruits into the military until there is justice for Vanessa. Another thing that her mother is demanding is an independent congressional investigation of Vanessa's murder. She wants every person responsible for not only her daughter's murder, but also, everything related to the lack of action for her disappearance. She wants all of those people held accountable, and I think that we can all sympathize with that, right? Another thing is the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill. Like Nick was talking about, it's really, really important that Congress hear from us, that they know that that's something that we demand, that that's something that we want, and that we stand in solidarity with her mother, with her family, and with their demands. With regards to Vanessa's sexual assault, we now know that the military is not taking that accusation seriously. The military has determined that they feel that she was assaulted in some way, but not sexually. So basically the military is saying that they don't believe Vanessa. We believe Vanessa. Vanessa, to us, is credible. And I'll tell you why I believe Vanessa. Because Vanessa is a product of immigrant parents. Me being a product of an immigrant, coming from a lower socioeconomic background, I know how much I protect my mother. As a Latina, yo sé cuánto quiero proteger a mi mamá. Si Vanessa was in such a dark place that she chose to confide in her mother, a woman of color, a Latina woman, a woman, someone who historically has been marginalized, not just in this country, but women historically have been marginalized. For Vanessa to be in such a dark place that she chose to share that information con su madre, we know that Vanessa is credible. We know that something happened to Vanessa, and we do not accept the military saying that she's not credible. We, Vanessa's army, we say she's credible, and we demand that that allegation be investigated. Thank you so much to everybody who came out today. Thank you, thank you.
Love you, sir.
And in all of this, lastly, I want us to all remember that Vanessa was a human being. She was someone's daughter. She was someone's sister. She was a girl, a woman, beautiful woman who liked to play soccer and wear lashes, who loved her mother and her siblings, who wanted to fight for this country. And at the end of the day, we look at hashtags and we come out and march, but let's all remember that she's a person, a human being. And let's take a moment to ask that her soul travel safely to its destination. Whether that be God, Creator, your higher power, wherever that be. I ask that Vanessa's soul has a safe travel, a safe journey to be with Creator. Thank you guys.